accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, I hereby convene this meeting of the Board of Directors of the Lower Colorado River Authority. Today is Wednesday, January 28, 2026. The time is 1:58. A quorum is present, and the General Counsel will record each director who is in attendance. Do we have any guests today that we need to recognize? If you'd like to make a comment about LCRA matters today, please sign up at the registration table in the lobby. Again, we have no one here for public comment this time, do we? Or do we? No? Okay, wonderful. Must be doing everything right. Nobody wants to talk to you, Phil.
Good morning.
Good morning, Phil. It's your turn.
Yes, sir. Chair Cooper, members of the board, we've been through a significant winter storm. The sleet, freezing rain, and bitter cold created challenging conditions across most of our state. I'm proud to report that we at LCRA prepared well in advance, and we were ready when the temperature started to drop. Most importantly, our employees kept safety first throughout the event, helping to keep the power flowing and keeping each other safe. Employees from across our organization performed admirably throughout Winter Storm Fern. Leading up to the storm, business units and support staff prepared and staged resources to be ready for the event. As the storm unfolded, we already had employees on site at our critical facilities and staying near remote transmission areas 24 hours a day. Business units and support functions coordinated closely before and throughout the event to make sure our operations groups had all the support they needed to immediately address any challenges that arose during the storm. Teams resolved complex issues very quickly and always with safety top of mind to help make sure our power kept flowing for the people we serve. In addition to preparing for the ice and extreme cold, our wholesale power team also prepared for very high load conditions. We were ready to support the grid with our fossil fuel and hydroelectric plants and purchase power. Our generation plant availability during the event was very high, including the new Timmerman power plant, and we quickly resolved issues that may have arisen. We communicated on a daily basis with our wholesale power customers to keep them up to date on market conditions and weather forecast. And we warned both wholesale power and transmission customers of false information and phishing attempts by malicious actors trying to take advantage of the storm. Thanks to our generation and training team's preparations, our wholesale power rates remained unaffected by the storm. And that's a really big deal. I'm going to give our guys a shout out. Turning to transmission, we had crews staged across the state handling issues as they arose. The storm caused 18 transmission outages in our service area that our team addressed quickly, resulting in total customer outage duration of just over 3 hours in total throughout the event. Transmission staff performed critical work in the field to balance system load across key equipment in the Buchanan area, and staff traveled to the Big Hill and Kendall substations late Sunday night to support restoration in that area after another electric utility had completed its field repairs. Throughout the event, transmission supported the grid and other business units at LCRA, including our generation facilities. In many ways, we were fortunate in that most of the precipitation fell as sleet instead of freezing rain. While the heavy sleet had a significant impact on roads and vehicles, it had less of an impact on our transmission lines. Had the precipitation been freezing rain with accumulations up to ½ inch as the forecast, we could have had a very different story. On the water side of our business, our team had staff on site at our dams along the Highland Lakes around the clock to quickly address any issues that arose. As you know, we typically move water downstream to meet water supply needs through hydroelectric turbines, creating power along the way. We planned ahead so we can make water supply releases and generate power when the grid needed it the most. All of our in-service generating units and our dams were available throughout the storm. That's another great job by the hydro guys and water. Telecommunications also were prepared for the storm. We experienced only minor network issues during the storm, and outages were protected by backup paths as designed. Field staff remained available 24 hours a day to respond as needed. So Telecom did a great job. Now, of all the events that took place in the event, or all the things that took place in the event, we had people stay in our parks. I just say that again. Every time we have a call, and I think Mark had like 30 people were staying in the parks. Now, a lot of those are Matagorda. But if you were in parks up this way, you got the hero award because you're really committed to your park time. So I don't think anybody was in a tent, Margot, right? Maybe not. But I think we had people in cabins. They had a good time, but it was cold. We kept in close communication with them, and our staff made sure they were safe. So a good shout out to our staff for what they did. Our support groups also provided exceptional service to our business units throughout the event. For example, our facilities team quickly diagnosed and solved an HVAC issue at Redmond Center, where our hydroelectric operations control center team is located. The solution kept our HOC team from having to work in a very cold building as temperatures continued to fall outside. Facilities also spread more than 1 ton, I'll say more than 1 ton of ice melt to help keep critical pathways safe to staff, members of facilities throughout our service territory. Our fleet team ensured more than 40,000 gallons of fuel was available to staff responding to this event. And the team coordinated delivery of 4-wheel drive vehicles that our wholesale power staff team could use at different plant sites during the storm. In addition to facilities and fleet, other teams supporting our business units throughout the event included insurance, supply chain, public safety, communication, digital services, cybersecurity, safety, and emergency management. We had a lot of folks involved. Everyone involved, whether from work in the field or from their homes, did a tremendous job in the face of very challenging conditions. I can't emphasize enough of how proud I am of the team we are at LCRA who step up to help each other and the people of Texas. So proud of them. Thank you all. Please recognize LCRA employees. And that, Chair Cooper, members of the board, concludes my report. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. I mean, I think I echo thoughts and words of the board to thank Phil and all the staff. I mean, we're such a big part. I get such a kick about going around and telling people that I work for you, that this is owned by the citizens of the state of Texas, and what y'all do is such a big part of it. We're a big part of the whole state, and doing what y'all do is incredible. And again, unless there's any other words, I just want to say thank you, each and every one of y'all. So again, one more round. Thank you very much for all you do. Okay, financial report, Mr. Travis.
Good afternoon again. Behind item 2, you'll find the financial report for LCRA, consolidated LCRA financial highlights, and I'll walk you through fiscal year-to-date numbers as well as our most current forecast for year-end. On page 1, chart A, we show net margin for the fiscal year-to-date. Again, a reminder, net margin is revenues less expenses, but before debt service. Total LCRA net margin through December is favorable to budget by $37.6 million, or about 10%. The drivers for this overall year-to-date budget performance are identified by each business area, with transmission the largest contributor, followed by wholesale power. Our current forecast for fiscal year-end is a favorable $16.3 million, or about 2%. For wholesale power, lower than expected expenses, partially offset by lower than expected non-fuel revenues, are the primary driver in wholesale power for year-to-date results of $9.3 million, or 10%. The wholesale power forecast of $9.4 million and 5% better than budget net margin results is driven by additional revenues collected to fund capital, favorable wholesale energy services corporation net margin, and that's offset partially by higher than budget non-fuel expenses for the year. So wholesale power is expected to end the year on a positive note. As discussed in the Transmission Services Corporation board meeting, transmission performance year-to-date is positive by about $20 million, or 8%, due primarily to higher interest income and lower expenses. The forecast for transmission is slightly favorable due to higher interest income, higher other revenues, but those are offset by lower cost of service revenues, which is a function of lower lower than expected billing units or budgeted billing units because of the cooler summer, as well as slightly higher overall expenses. Water's budget to actual performance is favorable year-to-date due primarily to lower expenses, both on firm water and interruptible. Those are partially offset by lower than budget firm water revenues. The year-end forecast for water is slightly favorable due to lower overall expenses. For strategic services, the year-to-date positive variance is just under $1 million, and it's driven by positive net margins in the transmission services, customer service work, as well as the environmental lab. Strategic services is currently expected to end the year with a positive net margin, with all areas contributing to that positive net margin. That includes transmission customer service, environmental lab, and telecommunications. Public services is better than budget year-to-date due to lower expenses and expected to end the year slightly ahead of budget, again, due to those managing their expenses throughout the rest of the year. On Chart B, you'll see the forecast for LCRA debt service coverage is a 1.52, that's the forecast, compared to the business plan target of a 1.47. So we look to end the year better than budget. The forecast is driven by the impacts I just discussed, as well as lower than budget debt service. Page 2 reflects capital spent to date, and as well as the forecast. Currently, we're forecasting capital spending for LCRA in FY26 to be about $67 million over the current budget of $285.7. The primary driver for this variance is due to a couple of wholesale power projects, as well as a telecom systems upgrade project. We'll continue to monitor that overall LCRA budget as we approach year-end, and if, as required by board policy, we'll bring forward an amendment to that budget, and any further discussion we may have on wholesale power would have to be done in executive session due to the confidential nature. There are 3 GM approved projects and 3 budget resets for the quarter. Page 3 is our board metrics, and we're in compliance on all those. Pages 4 through 6 are our summarized financial statements, and on page 7 is investment and debt information through the second quarter. Be happy to answer any questions you may have on LCRA's financials.
Questions, comments?
Jim, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I was curious, we're over budget on 70-something million on which 2 projects? I'm sorry.
There are a couple of wholesale power projects.
Oh, wholesale power?
Yes, sir. We discussed those a bit in the Finance Committee this morning, and if there's any questions on those, we can go into executive session. In executive session, we can discuss those.
No, you answered my question. That was what we talked about.
Yes, sir.
In our, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you very much. Okay. We're going to go into the consent items. If you'll look on page 6, we will now take up the consent agenda. If you've had a chance to review. Once you have or have not or have questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay. A chance to look through it. Any questions or comments? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Action items. Okay, item eight, capital improvement project approval, rural broadband middle mile expansion. Mr. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Good afternoon. Doing well, thank you. Yourself? Number 8, the capital improvement project approval for rural broadband. As we've been discussing over the past few months, we entered into negotiations and signed an agreement with the Broadband Development Office as part of the Controller's Office to expand middle mile reach, so fiber, internet fiber, to rural communities. What this grant does is there's 2 parts, or we're going to have 2 capital projects coming before you. This is the first one. This one focuses really on infrastructure. It's the radio sites It's the connection points where people come in, fiber vaults, that sort of stuff. That infrastructure will be built in 30 different counties. There's a map in there that shows the 30 different rural counties where we'll be building that infrastructure. There will be a second project that'll come to you next month in February as part of the transmission board. That is for easements. We do need to clear some of our easements to allow us to have third-party traffic on our fiber lines. We've done that before with you all. We called it BEEP, the Broadband Easement Enhancement Program. So this will be BEEP 2.0, or as some people are calling it, BEEP BEEP. So that'll be coming next month. But all of that collectively is part of the $30 million grant that we have with the BDO. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Steve. Okay, item number 9. LCRA interruptible agricultural water rates for Garwood, Gulf Coast, and Lakeside Agricultural Divisions. Mr. Kelly Payne, and before you begin, I know that the public received, the board received public comments. Jim Timmerman's wearing me out right now. I apologize. I don't know how to turn it off in my head. Oh, I think I'm sitting in his chair is what the problem is. The board received public comments on LCRA interruptible agricultural water rates. We discussed this earlier in the day during the Water Operations Committee. But we will have Mr. Kelly give us a review, update.
Yes, sir.
Continuation.
Thank you, Chair Cooper and members of the board. Today, we have before you an agenda item to approve the interruptible agricultural water rates for Garwood, Gulf Coast, and Lakeside Agricultural Divisions for calendar year 2026. We discussed the proposed rates in our Water Operations Committee meeting this morning, and as a reminder, we have no proposed rule or drought contingency plan changes for this year. Updates to the water rates include use rates, surcharges, and minimum charges. Highlights include a 3% rate increase to $71.52 per acre foot in the Gulf Coast and Lakeside Ag Divisions. This 3% increase is over the last rate that the customers paid in these divisions, which was in calendar year 2022. There's a 9.5% rate decrease in the Garwood Ag Division rate, resulting in a weighted average rate of $40.72 per acre foot. The decrease in this division is basically due to an increase in billing units, which is based on recent acreage planted over the last 3 years in Garwood. Exhibit A of the agenda item includes more detail on the 2026 rates and surcharge adders. The proposed rates and current rules were available for comment through the LCRA website, and LCRA staff met with the interruptible customers in December 2025 to discuss the upcoming crop year and proposed rate changes. As presented in the committee earlier today, we received 4 applicable written comments from the public and 1 unrelated comment. We provided the board copies of those comments last week under separate cover. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have and hope that you'll approve these rates.
Any further questions? We had a very well done presentation this morning. I think it was very concise. But any other questions? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion. Second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you for all your good work, Kelly. We appreciate your team. Okay, item 10, contracts and contract changes. Mr. Matt Chavez, how you doing again, sir?
I'm doing excellent. Today, we're requesting the board's approval for 1 new contract with S&K Electric for an amount not to exceed $25 million. This contract will add to our bench of construction providers that LCRA utilizes to support the build-out of LCRA's new private LTE telecommunication tower sites. S&K, as well as other construction service providers that we've previously onboarded, will compete for new sites moving forward, including the ones in the Rural Broadband Middle Mile Expansion Grant-funded project you just approved. As an example, the outside construction for that project is estimated about $8 to $10 million across the 100 sites, and S&K will be one of the providers bidding on those sites. That completes my overview of this contract, and at this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Matt, does this relate to what the board voted on earlier?
It does, yes, that's it. So, as I said, this one is one of the providers that'll bid on the sites for the Rural Broadband Middle Mile Expansion Grant-funded project that you just approved on item 8.
Well, we only have one today. That's being very easy on us. Any further questions, comments, discussion? I'll entertain a motion. So moved. Motion,
Second.
second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Yeah, I want to let you know, Bobby may leave board today.
Well, Matt and I were just talking about it. We're going to bring a 765 probably next month or March, and we'll make sure Dr. Lewis is prepared for that, because it'll be, as Matt said, how much in it, Matt goes a lot. So I think it fits that criteria.
Bobby,
Quit showing up.
yeah, I was gonna say, Bobby, we're gonna lose it. You know, I got him to re-up, and now, no action. Anyway, very good. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate all y'all do. Okay, at this time, do we need to have I thought we did. Okay, so, we're gonna go into executive session, so staff and guests may be excused while we take care of this LCRA Board executive session. Okay, and I will read us in, recording. We will now go into executive session of the LCRA Board of Directors pursuant to section 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, 551.086, 551.089, and 418.183 F of the Texas Government Code. Today's date is January 28, 2026. The time is 2020. Okay, we have concluded the executive session of the LCRA Board of Directors, now returned to open session. Today's date is Wednesday, January 28, 2026, and the time is 3:06. Is there any other items or any other business come before this board today? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned to 3:06.